Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I just got great news because I didn't realize it. It's Baby Friday. Thank goodness. Good morning, Raspberry. Guidance has made it in. Hello, Casey. La la. Yes, Pez is here. Flutter's in. Hello, ICU. There's Where's Summer. She's all fired up already. Hello, Glenjamin. Glenjamin, did you like the music? You complimented some music from the other day. Hello, Jinx. Hello, Peas in a Pod. Your comment after the members video yesterday, Peas, almost made me pee. I was dying laughing. I couldn't believe it. Hello, Ryan. Hello, Lori. True Crime with Shannon said, I love Fridays. Me too. Me too. Anybody got any big weekend plans? Is the weather going to be cooperating with you? We're supposed to be getting some bad storms through here today, but that's just how it goes. Hello, Alicia. Avi made it in. Avi makes the most beautiful handmade cards. Handmade. Any occasion. You can just get a hold of Avi and say, do you have any Baby Friday cards? And she would say, oh yeah, I can make you a Baby Friday card. And they're gorgeous. Sarah said it's Thursday. I said Baby Friday, Friday Eve. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to the weekend. Hello, Kiki. Gina made it in. A lot going on. A lot going on. Just when I think that I can give this craziness a rest, something else happens. Now, I have been talking back and forth with Ivy's father, Justin. Super cool dude. Super cool dude. My heart breaks for him. He has been invited to come on the show. I do not blame him if he does not come on. There's no judgment. He has an attorney now representing the family. And for real, gonna need that attorney because there's a lot going on. This is 100% on Oklahoma's plate. This is their fault. I have a clip from a few days ago I'm going to play where they basically are talking about his porn with minor charges while he was in the pokey. And they said, well, we can't put people in jail for something they haven't been convicted of. Tell that to Tulsa County. Tell that to Pawnee County. Tell it to Rogers County. What are you talking about? People sit in jail in this state awaiting trial all the time, you fools. I've been reading a lot about this judge in Muskogee He's a real dipshit. Who the hell could mess around with McFadden for this many years and not be like, come on, we got to get something done with this. We got to get something done with this. Annette said, that's nuts. Alicia, there's so much more to this case. Girlfriend, there is. Girlfriend, there is. Snooks rhymes with Brooks says, thanks for this coverage. Oklahoma strong. Boomer sooner, baby. That's right. That's right. Don't judge this screw up. And Jesse and Holly, don't blame the rest of us. Snooks will agree that in Oklahoma, the only time we're talked about on the Today Show is football, tornadoes, and stuff like this. Because I'll tell you what, when they commit crimes in Oklahoma, they don't do it just a little bit. That's one thing. They go all in. And I am a big fan of our governor. Governor Stitt, I think he's doing a pretty great job. I want to know where the hell he's at. I know last weekend he was given a commencement at ORU. He went and had a nice dinner at Amelia's in downtown Tulsa. That's good for you, Kev. This is 100% during your term, Kevin. Why is he not speaking out about this? He is so hell-bent on what's going on in McCurtain County that he doesn't seem to understand that what we have going on in Henrietta is far worse than that sheriff making racial slurs on a hot mic. This is far worse. Step it up. Step it up, Kev. Come on. You know how to do it. Diana just gifted Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Just in time, too, because we're having a members live tomorrow to celebrate Mother's Day. P's got her umbrella out. That's right. P's got the umbrella out. Summer says, your governor needs to step it up. Yeah, Snook says, Kevin, pull up. Come on, Kevin. Where you at, Kev? Come on, Kev. About had it with that crap. So if anybody doesn't know what's going on in McCurtain County, I'll put that up real quick and then we'll get to the rest of it. Because this is the priority for him right now.
Fallout continues in McCurtain County, Oklahoma, after officials were heard on tape allegedly making violent and racist remarks. Oklahoma Attorney General Getner Drummond has requested that the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation further investigate County Sheriff Kevin Clardy. The scandal broke last night when the local newspaper in McCurtain County reported on audio recordings where the sheriff and other county officials allegedly called for the hanging of two of the separate newspapers' reporters. Now, County Commissioner Mark Jennings, he ended up resigning after those recordings were made public. However, the sheriff still hasn't. According to a statement he released last month, Sheriff Clardy says that the audio was altered. In the letter sent to Governor Stitt, AG Drummond said that he asked to investigate and found evidence of wrongdoing. Now he is asking the OSBI to expand its investigation.
Dipshit. We know that the sheriff in McCurtain County said shit he should have never said. We know that. Glenn said, oh, I heard that recording. Me too. That recording would make Dave Chappelle blush. Okay? So, yeah, I get it. But you have the Attorney General on this in McCurtain County, but not a mass murder in Henrietta. I'm not down with that. Oh, I have the recording of the sheriff in McCurtain County. I'll put it on the members tab so you guys can hear it. I'm not going to put it out public because God only knows what YouTube would do to me. I'm still feeling that spanking from when I put the body cam up of the very, very, very brave officers in Nashville that went and took care of a school shooter. YouTube about lost their mind on that one. I'm like, really? Lala said, I was excited over my membership and missed it. Sorry. It's okay, girlfriend. It's always there. Glenjamin, thank you. Glenjamin said 7 people isn't no joke. There's got to be more to the story. My digging around and through talking with the families, there is way more to the story. And Holly is not this delicate flower that her family wants to make her out to be. And I'm not picking on her family because I couldn't imagine coming to the reality that she was in on it. She was in on it. I said yesterday, and yes, I'm very well aware that he had trial that day. I think she was very much in on the planning of the murders, the staging of the bodies, and then they checked out together in some sort of pact. She's not right. Okay? She's not right in the head. She knew she was about to go down too. She knew it. Because calm down, OJ. Eventually, somebody was going to talk about the things going on in the house. Okay? Woohoo, Carol! Thank you, Carol. She just gifted 5 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Rock and Rolla said, I agree, Brooks. She was getting ready to go down too. Either one of the kids was going to talk. Somebody would have, this was all about, the shit was all about to hit the fan. Let's face it, when Holly would go grocery shopping, somebody probably noticed she doesn't walk quite right, and we know why. Nobody would have a steady gait if they had this hanging around the house. No way. So they all went out together because she knew she was about to get busted too. And I don't mean in the way she likes to get busted or used to like. I'm very surprised that we haven't heard from other kids' families, because Tiffany, one of the victims, she didn't just know 2 kids. She didn't just know Ivy and Brittany. All of the kids were very involved in school. Where's all the other friends? Where's all of Michael's friends? Where's Riley's friends? I have a feeling there's some people out there that are going to say, well, they associated at school, but something about them didn't seem right, so I didn't let my kids hang out over there. You know there is. They didn't just have 2 friends. Glenjamin's scared. They're probably scared. Yeah. Mama Kay said, I saw a little girl who was invited to the slumber party but couldn't go. Good for her. Because this was planned. This was premeditated. This was planned. All right, let me get to the comments, and then we're going to get to what is shaken down now. If I can get them pulled up. Good Lord. I've been up since 5 this morning. You think I can have my stuff together. Mischief Me said, this case is unnerving to say the least. I personally feel bad that if you harm anyone in the way this POS did, to the first known victim, you should be put to death. These types of people cannot be fixed or trusted. 100% right. 100% right. Let's look at this that Slim sent me this morning in an email. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis Monday signed 3 bills into law that allow prosecutors, juries, and judges to get tougher on certain types of criminals. See, the state of Oklahoma loves the death penalty. There's nothing more fun in McAllister, Oklahoma than a good old death watch party. Beer, barbecue, lethal injection, good Lord. Nothing like it. They need to get on board with this. DeSantis said child rapists are incurable and particularly evil kind of predator. If they do that once, chances are they will do it again unless they are stopped, unless they are incapacitated, said DeSantis. So they're going to start killing him there. Now, when Kevin gets the memo, unless he's got another commencement speech this week to do somewhere, he can get this done too. Don't let me down, Kevin. This is your last term. Go out with a bang. But I agree with him 100%. Let's get a play date together between our governors, shall we? Let's set it up. Slim's in Florida. Shannon's in Florida. We got several Okies in here. Let's get a play date together for our governors and they can compare notes. Because I loved it. Kristen76 says, my firm belief is they were both working for the same group of people. This goes far deeper than a murder-suicide. There could even be a chance that there was no suicide involved. Do we trust this investigation that Jesse really did this to himself? This isn't cut and dry like law enforcement thought, and they messed up big time. Letting people in the house touching things. This case was trafficking all over it. Containers, trailers on the property, and it wasn't even his property. I know. Brown Eyes says, very poignantly, the Klan wouldn't take him. Now let's talk about that. I don't want to get too much into the Klan because God only knows what YouTube would do to me. We talked on the show yesterday that Jesse made it known in jail that he didn't want to be around black people because he's Klan. I'm not taking up for the Klan at all, but let me tell you, they would kill him. Somebody that does anything to children wouldn't have made it to jail. They would kill him. So him saying, I'm Klan, they wouldn't take you, dude. They wouldn't take you. Anybody the Klan doesn't take or wouldn't date Holly needs to feel really bad about themselves today. Elaine said, really getting tired of law enforcement covering up crimes. I really don't know what kind of society we are living in. And if I were one of the parents, I would be going off my rocker, seeing the cover up and go over there to make sure something is done. I would not let this slide, not if it was my child. Well, I don't think it's so much of a cover up as it's just sloppy police work. I think it's a lot of I don't cares. You go to the house and hard drives, donkey dongs, restraints, and they just left it. They were just going to let the landlord clean up his property. You can't have zero police work in a mass murder. I don't get it. Elaine said, I think the landlord participated. Isn't it funny that he said that he was there cleaning the horse pens before all this happened? You're cleaning the horse pens, but you don't know what is going on in the property that you own? Rumor has it Jesse is related to him somehow. I don't doubt it. I just can't prove it. And what really, really bugs me is that all of this was in plain sight. The kids were very active in school. They had kids over to the house. They let their kids go to other houses. Bob said, did they have dildos in the yardo? I didn't hear about that. Lisa says, don't landlords do inspections of homes they rent out? I mean, tenants have rights. And so when you're renting a condo, apartment, home, or whatever, I mean, they have to give you notice that they're coming over. But let's face it, I don't think they had that type of relationship. Miracle said, it's both a lazy Ellie and cover up. Yep. Nucky said, I think the kids have been conditioned by Holly since birth. I do too. I do too, my friend. So let's say that the landlord gives a 24-hour notice, I'm going to be there to check the property tomorrow. Well, in 24 hours, how are you going to get rid of all this stuff? I have a feeling that landlord never checked anything. He didn't check anything. As long as he was getting his money, he didn't care. He did not care. Wendy, thank you. How did one shooter control all those people? I don't know if they did toxicology or not. I'm going to guess that all of the kids were drugged because let's face it, there's 5 kids and 2 adults. Someone starts shooting, the other kids can attack. They can get the gun away from them. But somehow they get them outside, kill them. So how, I mean, like I said, that'd be 5 against 2. Somebody starts shooting, someone's going to run. Someone's going to run off in the woods and going, you're not going to get me. They're going to run across the street. Insane. See, that I have a big question about. I don't believe that all 5 of those kids just stood there and got shot. There's way more to that. See, and they're not even investigating that. Well, they are now because the OSBI is involved. So we do have that much. Before I get to it, Justin was on News Nation last night with his attorney. Good. I'm glad they have an attorney because I think they have some people they probably need to sue. Probably need to sue. So a few days ago, they said this was all planned. I believe it was planned too. But I believe Holly was one of the planners. I believe 100% she was one of the planners. I don't think she was ambushed. And I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. It's okay. I'm not the investigator here. Through further investigation, they're going to figure out that this was a pact between Holly and Jesse. She was not a victim. She was not ambushed. I understand what her mom is saying. This was put out last week. Jeanette Mayo, she said all of the posts on Facebook and the news talk about 7 bodies found and mention Ivy and Brittany, but no mention of the other 4 found. Those other 4 were my daughter Holly, her children Riley, Michael, and Tiffany. My heart does go out to Ivy and Brittany's families, but they were not his only victims. My daughter loved her children, and yes, she married the man who killed them, but she was fooled by his charms. No. No. She wasn't fooled by anything. She wasn't fooled by anything. She knew exactly what she was getting into because she was into it. Yeah, it was planned. And I can't wait for it to hit. Once they get done with their investigation, and from what I'm understanding, OSBI does talk to the families quite a bit now. And this investigation is very active. They're going to get to the bottom of Holly's involvement. Crime Story Diva said, if she loved her kids, she would not have had them around a sex offender. No, she wouldn't. Her type was the ones in shackles. She pimped herself out to dudes in jail. That record of Jesse's didn't bother her at all. She knew exactly what he was. So this lie about this actress convinced her that it wasn't him and all this stuff. No, that's not true because she liked it. She was into it. She was into it. I mean, my God, look around the house. Look, they took this out of the house. Who the hell would have that in their house? Look at this. A Brinks lock and a freaking log chain? A lot of this was Holly's idea. A lot of this was Holly's idea. Snook said the first victim stated he was with Holly when she was attacked. Yeah, what do you know? Like I said, they didn't bump into each other at Brahms getting an ice cream and a cup of chili. Whew. Miracle. The parents were horrified. What do you mean they don't look upset? Oh, I think they're extremely upset. Dang. I don't know how they're managing. I don't know how they're managing. I just don't. Absolute crazy. So this is how it's somewhat explained why Jesse wasn't in jail for the solicitation when he was behind bars. State of Oklahoma is saying, well, we can't put someone in jail for something they're not convicted of. Bullshit. There's plenty of people sitting in jail awaiting trial. Plenty. Good try. And I know some people say, oh, well, that makes sense then. No, it does not. No, it does not. So when his charges came down in September of 2017, there should have been no bond or anything because you can tell he is a violent repeat offender. Some people will argue and say, well, him texting a 16-year-old is not violent. We're talking about Jesse. Okay? We're talking about Jesse. Bullshit. They do it all the time. And I'm not saying it's illegal or unconstitutional. While someone's awaiting trial and there is a probable cause that they committed a heinous crime, come on. How did this slip through the cracks? I don't get it. Oklahoma is a very tough on crime state. They are. They are a very tough on crime state. Nucky said, my mother-in-law is head of the Republican Party for this district. I'm going to go talk to her, talk to our legislators, and try to change the Oklahoma laws. Or enforce the ones we have. They could enforce the ones we have on the books. This isn't even slipping through the cracks. This is the Grand Canyon. Gotta be kidding me. What a weak-ass answer. They can't keep people in prison for things they aren't convicted of. Oh, really? So if I go out and get a DUI today, I'm not going to sit in the drunk tank for 20 hours? You're just going to let me go home? No. Come on. Good try, though. The pandemic. They love that excuse. Anybody that lives in Oklahoma knows we barely had a shutdown. There was pictures of our governor at a Golden Corral that circulated everywhere saying there's no COVID here. Come on. They love pulling that crap. Get real. There was no COVID in 2017. Look at this. This is just a failure. Okay? And I am a proud Okie. All right? I am a proud Oklahoman. I love my state. But this is crazy. All right, so let's look at this. File, enter, recorded information, September 29th, 2017. I like how they put dismissed on there. Yeah, we know it's dismissed now. He does owe $4,626 in fines. Have a feeling we're not going to be able to collect on that. They actually updated this on the 10th. Thank you. So now we're doing our work, right? They're updating this shit, and he's dead. So we scroll and we scroll. Judge Brett Smith of Muskogee, Oklahoma. Judge Brett Smith made a very, very bad call. District Attorney Larry Edwards. Bad call. Because you could have recommended to your buddy Brett, this dude needs to be put in jail. He needs about an $18 million bond and holding there. We can't let him out. Why did they not do that? So the calendar of events, warrant issue, initial appearance, sounding docket. There was a prelim hearing, another prelim hearing, another prelim hearing, another, district court arraignment. Then they had a disposition docket in August of 2019. It says jury trial completed, but there was no jury trial because they got a continuance on that. Then they issued a bench warrant in November of 2020. More disposition dockets. Another jury trial was scheduled. Then we come to May 1st, 9 a.m., jury trial completed. Code X, which means there was no jury trial. We know that. Same day, bench warrant, failure to appear. And then May 11th, 10 days, issue bond forfeiture. Are you kidding me? You filed that today? We all know what happened. Then you get to the way bottom of this, the way bottom. May 4th, case dismissed due to defendant's death. Bond exonerated. May 5th, bench warrant return for failure appear issued. The hell are y'all doing? The hell are y'all doing? There's missing the mark, and then there's missing an entire mile. You've got to be kidding me. I don't live in Muskogee County, so I don't know anything about this judge, but I'm telling you, he's got blood on his hands. Nucky, he was working with the police as a drug informant, I guarantee you. That could be it too, I don't know. Usually those are the easiest ones to catch. My God, in Tulsa all the time, it's like you can inform them all you want. You can be best buddies with the cops. But they're not going down with you. We saw the paraphernalia around the house. I can't put it on here. You're right, Sinclair. It is sinister. Very sinister. Very sinister. I put the link up if anybody wants to come up. So Justin was on News Nation last night. And it was a really good interview. Really, really good interview. I'm glad they have an attorney, because I think they're going to need some help maneuvering this process, because someone's going to get sued. I just don't know who you'd sue. Where do you start? Where do you start? They're going to find other victims. They're going to find other victims.
Justin is the father of Ivy Webster, one of the victims. And I'm also joined by the family's attorney, Cameron Spradling. They provided all of these videos to us. Thank you both so much. Justin, I'll begin with you. I mean, I personally have been so outraged from the moment this story broke. You lost your daughter in this horrifying series of crimes, it appears. Have you been updated at all? Have the authorities helped you to navigate what's happening and where they're going from here to solve this terrible crime?
From the get-go, we weren't getting much information at all from the sheriff's office. Okmulgee Sheriff's Office completely dropped the ball, not once, not twice, but at least 3 times. And
he's right. They dropped the ball over and over and over. For one, they did not even need a warrant to go in that house. Because in the state of Oklahoma, if you're doing a well check visit on a child, no warrant is needed. They didn't need a warrant. We also have conflicting information. The chief of police in Okmulgee said that Jesse was on the sex offenders list. Yet we're hearing he wasn't. It can't be both ways. Why is the chief saying he was on there, but he wasn't? How can that be? We got Amanda backstage. Your devices are not connected yet, my friend. There we go. Hello, Santa Claus.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. Who do you think they should sue first?
I feel they should start with the police, LE. Because they dropped the ball in the beginning by not closing that house up, period.
Yep.
And allowing people to come in there. And that landowner should be in jail for allowing people to come in and mess with a crime scene.
I have lots of questions for him. We rent a condominium outside of Tulsa. Before you can rent here, they do a background check on you. They want to make sure you don't have any, scaby type behavior before you move into this community. Now, obviously, this landlord didn't do this. And Jesse was also using another address because he can't be caught around kids. Nani says,
Well,
I
then
agree.
that goes to say a lot, because if the rumors are correct and he is kin to
Uh-huh.
the landlord was kin to Jesse, he was probably helping him not be shown that he was living there by allowing the mom to supposedly have her name on it.
Uh-huh. Well, and if
And
what
my
I'm
friend Carolyn, I'm sorry, my
oh,
friend
yeah,
Carolyn said something earlier in the chat. She mentioned they need to look into Walmart and see if Holly was not with Jesse when he was purchasing those locks.
Or Ace Hardware or wherever they went.
Wherever they went, they need to
Mhm.
look at the videos.
Absolutely. Because I'm telling you, you go shopping with your man and he's got a bunch of locks and chains, you might want to ask what's going on. I bet
Yeah,
see, I'm not a carpenter. I'm not a carpenter, but this looks like a two-person job to me. I mean, hell, someone used a level and everything to get that hooked up to the wall.
I mean, what was she doing while all this was, even if the brother was helping him do this, what was she doing? Was she in the background cheering him on?
Mhm. Somebody held the board so he could screw it in.
Yeah.
No pun
So
intended.
what the hell? You're just sitting there, not what's that? What are we creating in this home today, honey?
Mhm. Exactly. Act like they're Chip and Joanna Gaines around there. No, we know what this is for.
Yep.
Come on. Come on. This is going to go on for a long time. My fear is they're not going to update us because of the embarrassment on the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office.
I'm also in fear of them trying to put a gag order on it.
Mhm. I am too. And I have a feeling that once other charges come down the pike, there will be a gag order. See, they did that with Athena Brownfield too. And I still want to know what's going on with that case. They're real big about that here anymore, and it's really cramping my damn style.
Since OSBI has been back on the case, they have been absolutely amazing in relaying information to us, keeping us updated. I've been in constant contact with the agent that's on the case and relaying information to us, and it's been wonderful.
What kind of information have they told you, Justin?
He can't tell you, Beigefield, but I'm so happy that Justin's on there saying that OSBI is communicating with them. Good morning, Nucky.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. You sound like a DJ with K95. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good morning, Nookie.
Good morning, Amanda.
Nice. All the girls get to meet. Amanda, this is Nucky. Nucky, this is Amanda.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. It's sad we're meeting under these circumstances, but
Yes, it is.
I am just an hour south of where this happened. And we actually drove through Okmulgee and Henrietta on our way home from a dog show in Kansas City on Sunday. And I literally bawled my eyes out the entire way through.
I can't imagine the feeling anybody that lives there. I mean, I know how I feel, and I'm all the way in Georgia. I can't imagine anyone that lives near there, the feelings and how they're feeling with that going on there.
Yeah. I mean, I live in an extremely small town, and we know everybody. We know who's good and who's bad. And if someone new moves into town, we're looking them up.
I don't blame you.
I probably shouldn't say this, but we own a pharmacy, and if someone new moves in, we take their name and put it into OSCN and look them up.
Mm-hmm.
That's a smart thing to do.
It is. Have you seen these statistics lately? We have 5,718 registered offenders.
It's sick.
Mm-hmm.
Sick.
Now, Justin started a Facebook group where they're tracking these people in jail now, and they know when they're going to get released. Some people say it's vigilante. I think that they're doing due diligence, and they're saying, no, we want to know when they get out.
Amen.
They don't announce it on the news. They don't tell us on the news. They don't say, hey, by the way, tomorrow, if you live at 71st and Yale in Tulsa, they're going to be letting old boy out. And he did this to a 15-year-old 10 years ago. They don't tell us.
Right. And he's moving into your neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Maybe if they would have been doing stuff like this a long time ago, these 5 innocent kids would not be unalive today.
Well, I think Holly's kids would be unalive, but the two girls would still be alive.
I got
the two friends. Yeah. There's no way Holly wasn't involved in this.
I 100,000,000% agree with you. And even if she wasn't involved like that and she knew it was going on, you can't play victim because you knew he was doing this stuff. Open your mouth, turn him in, period. But I totally believe she was in with it.
Yep.
Either way, you're guilty. Sorry, your kids fucking come first.
I'm sorry. There are
language, but it's fucking true.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. There's not 6 victims. There's 5 victims.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amen.
And I get what Holly's mom is trying to do. I get what the aunt is trying to do. But you know what? Pipe down. Because we've all figured out that Holly is sick. It doesn't mean you guys are sick. It doesn't mean the whole family is sick. It means Holly is sick.
Yep.
Stop being in denial. Stop being in denial and accept the fact of what she was.
Yep.
That's like trying to tell a child when an adult's doing something to him, shh, don't say nothing. You're protecting a sick person who did this to your grandchildren.
That's what I'm saying.
And Holly had groomed them kids from birth to keep their mouth shut about what went on in their home. I guarantee you.
It makes you wonder how Holly was raised. It makes you wonder what went on with Holly's childhood.
Yep.
Why is grandma not mortified by this instead of saying, I mean, you look at her statement right here. She fell for his charms. No, she's not the hooker in Pretty Woman.
Nope.
Hell no.
She was using the prison pen pal system as Match.com.
Yes. Hell yes, she was.
Mm-hmm. She had her own Tinder, didn't she?
She sure did. She wanted an inmate. She wanted a felon.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as she found her sex offender, there you go.
Instead of put a ring on it, she put a stamp on it.
Yep.
Oh, but let me go tell my family. Let me tell my family he bought an actress and he made me believe everything this bitch was saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and how dumb is a family to believe that? How dumb are you to believe that, come on, you don't get 20 years in prison for statutory.
If you were just sitting there playing Monopoly with a kid, come on now. Open your damn eyes and stop coddling and walking around on eggshells. Poor Holly.
No, not poor Holly. Poor Michael. Poor Riley.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Poor Tiffany. Poor
Amen.
Ivy. Poor Brittany.
Horrible.
Holly's
Absolutely.
rotten in hell with Jesse.
Yep.
Yep.
They're roommates. They are roommates down there, but they forgot some of their luggage.
Boy, did they ever.
Because you can't tell me when she was walking around the grocery store, she's at the local Reese's, the local Brahms, the local Come and Go. No pun intended. She didn't walk with a funny gait.
I bet you she was bow-legged as sin.
Mm-hmm. 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 And I want to know how in the
Yeah.
McFadden family did they shit out Jesse and Cody? How can you have two that are that messed up? Is this genetics? Is this nurture? What the hell's going on? Because supposedly the mom is brokenhearted. I'm like, what? You're
I
broken.
think genetics.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, there was some incest and gross things, in my opinion, going on in that home for those freaks to be like that. There had to have been something going on in that home, gross ass shit going on, for them both to be into that shit.
Because they're sadists. They're sadists. They're not kinky, like I saw someone say. Because you know, some
No.
people are trying to normalize pedophilia, and I will not have it. I will
No.
not have it.
They're trying to say, make it, what is it?
Mental
Minor
health and-
attracted person.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's okay and that's normal, just like somebody being gay.
No, it's not.
Bullshit. It's bullshit.
I
Yes,
read
it
an
is.
entire article where they were talking about this, and it's a bill that's being introduced in another state, not in Oklahoma, and basically it comes down to they can't help who they're attracted to, and I'm like, what? Hold on.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. That's
They
what I'm
can't-
saying. They think it's okay, and that it should be normalized like somebody being gay.
No.
Bullshit.
Hello, Snooks. Welcome.
Welcome, Boomer Sooner, baby.
Boomer, we got 3
Hi,
Okies on
Snook.
here, and we got a Georgia Peach. Go for it, Snooks. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Do you think? Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Here's my thoughts on it. I was thinking that I didn't see like dust or anything around those, the locks. And usually, if you've had to drill up the concrete, but they're saying that there was Walmart receipts for the locks and the chains. But I didn't see the dust that you normally see. My husband does tile, so that's why I kind of know a little bit about that. Usually you would see dust around that. And I'm kind of wondering, I'm not giving Holly because I think she was in on it. But the only thing I was wondering is if he just went off the rails and just went sideways, because he shot her 3 times in the head. That's different than everyone else. Was he mad at her because she didn't agree with him and what he was going to do? Maybe she knew that he was sexually deviant, but not like this. And then he went, because they said that he got those chains and stuff just a couple of days before, correct? That's when the dad found the receipts from Walmart for the chains and locks. So did he go off the rails then, and then she buckled up against him? Because there's some reason she got shot 3 times in the head. That's to me, that's like a big deal. I don't know. What do you guys think?
What do you guys think?
I think-
in my opinion, go ahead. You can go first.
No, go ahead, Amanda.
In my opinion, she knew all this stuff going on. That wasn't his first rodeo of doing what he did to those kids.
Agreed.
He's been doing it all along. She knew he was in prison for raping a female. So how are you going to be so shocked? And no, if she was going to fight him, she would have not even invited him in her home to begin with.
Well,
That
he's the
should
one
have
that
been
picked
what
them
she
up,
did.
though. He's the one that engaged them calling the girls. So I'm kind of wondering, I mean, I'm not giving her a free pass. She knew exactly what was going on. I just don't know that she knew what was going to go on that day. She's just as guilty. But I'm just saying, I'm wondering if she didn't know what was coming that day.
Well, my
I
theory
feel
is,
she did.
yeah, my theory is they made a pact. She knew all this was going to go down. She knew this was their last weekend to do their crazy kinky stuff, as some people call it. I call it sadist. I call it perverse. And I think that he actually did love Holly, and he shot her more times to make sure she didn't suffer.
Yep.
The kids, he didn't care if they were still hanging on to life. He didn't care.
Okay. I looked at it as he wanted to obliterate her, and he was mad because she was like, no, don't do this to other people. You know what I mean? Bringing in more people, and all of a sudden doing the handcuffs and stuff, and maybe went against him because he was such a control freak. That's where my brain went. And it made him mad because she went against me.
I do understand your theory. But I feel she knew everything. She was as much involved. She didn't care. And I feel at the end of the day, they felt this was something they could do together as a sacrifice. Because,
oh, I get that.
Look at the list that was in her handwriting. The names of the children.
It was her handwriting?
List in her handwriting.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
And I cannot believe that list was out in plain sight.
Right.
I mean, in plain sight. I talked to Justin yesterday, and he saw it. He
Right.
saw it. He's got pictures of it. I mean, I don't have the pictures. I don't want them. But yeah, they're very well. It is so disgusting.
So she knew that he was going to kill her kids and Brittany and Ivy. She had names written down on that list.
Yeah, she was definitely, his cellmate went on, and he said that, she had been telling him that she loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And then she switched over to the other guy. So I don't know. I mean, she sounds like she's just messed up. I mean, or more. I don't know. It's really sad. I just feel bad for the parents and having to go in there. And now this whole thing with one parent saying the other parent really didn't see something. And, I can't imagine why any parent would say they saw something that they didn't, or one family member. There's nothing to be gained from that.
I feel like maybe a lot of the stuff was already taken out before that individual went in there.
Yeah,
maybe so. Exactly. Hey, listen, I'm at work. I've got to go in and make people beautiful. So I know, right? Woo-woo. Anyway, listen,
turn.
It was great to talk to you. Thank you for letting me up on the panel. And
anytime, girlfriend. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Have a great day. And let's not let this ever happen again. Let's do whatever we can to make this not happen, right?
That's for real.
Amen.
We got to
Okay.
vote better. We got to vote better around here. That judge in Muskogee.
Bye-bye.
And Kevin, pull up, Kevin. Pull
Come
up.
on, Kevin. We have faith in you, Kevin. That
Okay.
judge in Muskogee, I wouldn't let him lead the high school debate team.
Right. I'll talk to you later, babe. Bye-bye.
All right, bye, hun. So good having Snooks up here. She's never been up here before. She's a boomer sooner too.
Boomer sooner.
Go dogs.
Ooh, you're outnumbered up here. That's a sore subject. That's a sore subject. You want to hear something, Amanda? Nucky will know what
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
talking about. What are the two things you can smoke in a bowl in Oklahoma?
Oh, good lordy. I don't know.
Pot and Oklahoma Sooners.
That's funny.
We win some, we lose some. Country Girl's Life just made it in. She's been talking to the family. If you want to grab the link, come on up. Is Steve the Rooster being good today? All right, let me get back to what Justin was saying. I'm going to go back just a little bit because there was a part I missed. And of course, I meant to say something about it, but that's how my brain works right now.
Us keeping us updated. I've been in constant contact with the agent that's on the case and relaying information to us, and it's been wonderful.
What kind of information have they told you, Justin?
Just updates on certain things kind of going on. A lot of stuff, I don't know if I'm allowed to say at this point. So, with the attorney on, I'm pretty sure he can answer some things for us, but a lot of information is pretty much already known for them from this point. But other than that, we don't really, we're still getting answers.
Well, I'm glad that the spigot has finally been opened for you, the family members who are so deserving of information as to what happened in that sequence of events that led to that terrible mass murder. Cameron, maybe you could help. I know you have to walk a fine line as an attorney in that state, but when Justin refers to the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation, I'm also curious about the FBI. Have they been there? What information has finally been relayed to the families? Information that we have not yet heard.
Well, you have to understand that the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations now has complete control of all the electronic devices, as far as we know. And having done these cases for a number of years, I know that they're going to go through a forensics, and that's going to take some time. But those forensics will likely reveal that it has gone national on the internet. And then they will invite the FBI in to handle other parts of this investigation. And the FBI is very, very good at this. Very good at this. I've worked with them before, and I deeply appreciate their work. And I appreciate the OSBI coming and taking the forefront of this investigation now.
Cameron, about the FBI, I understand that there is a protocol. Law enforcement agencies do have to be requested before they can just, Bigfoot. But we may have other missing children that could have been victimized in that home, which would be instantly an FBI matter. Is the FBI, to your knowledge, working concurrently while the OSBI continues to push this investigation forward? And thank you for letting me know they now, a week plus later, have control of the electronic devices.
Okay, one thing that Beigefield said that really upset me, and I know I had some comments yesterday saying I'm hating on her too much. I actually like her. I really do. But when she said that state, did you catch that?
Yep.
Yeah.
She goes, I know you would have trouble in that state. Quit it, quit it, quit it. But let's talk about the FBI. There are other missing people. There are other missing children. There are cold cases. There's unsolved cases, whatever you want to call it. When is the FBI going to get involved? It's not like they tell us anything. The FBI never talks to the media. I mean, never. When people scream and yell and say, law enforcement isn't telling us anything. Well, the FBI doesn't tell you shit. You don't know anything until they go to trial.
Mm-hmm. But
I mean, when it comes to these electronics, they're really the only ones that can do it. We're not going to leave it up to Chief Prentice in Okmulgee. He can barely read a damn text message from his wife telling him to pick up beer and milk. Think we're going to leave it up to his ass?
Hell no.
No, it's going to have to be the FBI card unit.
Absolutely.
You know, they're the ones that have the technology that can take the images and match them to missing children through their, computer software.
100% it's going to have to be them. 100%. I'm not saying that the OSBI can't do it, but, Kev wants them investigating the sheriff in McCurtain County. They got to do what the governor says, so they're kind of split. FBI has way more tools in their war chest. Well, we know than Joe Prentice has and the sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe that dude just got back from fishing and shit, and he's standing there acting like he's all annoyed with this. I'm like, man, you have nothing more important going on right now than these 7 dead bodies, and you just want to close it and say, well, we can't arrest the guy that did it. I mean, because, he's dead. He killed himself. That's not what we're asking for. Where's the other victims?
Yes.
Yep.
Who else is involved? What are your feelings on the landlord? Does anybody get like something might be up with the landlord?
Me.
Okay.
Because, I used to we used to have a house that we rented, and our landlord lived near us. He knew our comings and goings. We knew his comings and goings, and we were a mile apart from each other, but we passed each other's houses on the way to and from our houses. You know what I mean? You would see odd things if there were odd things going on. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't tell me that he didn't notice that there were strange cars, because I'm sure that there were other predators that were coming to that house that Holly and Jesse were probably charging.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they definitely more than likely were.
And I was trying to give the old boy the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, he probably isn't around there very much. Renters have rights. You can't just go and say, I'm checking out my property. I want to make sure that you don't really have a dog or, something like that. You just can't do it.
And he was baling hay around the property.
He was cleaning the horse pens.
Yeah.
And supposedly working on the pond or lake there. Yeah. If that was him.
Tiny Dancer said, well, Beige-Field has crapped on our country many times while saying her home country of Canada is better at many things. Then go back, Beige-Field. Well, for real, I did hear she was saying that. So why didn't she get a job there? Why is she always looking down her nose at us? Good morning, this country girl's life. How are you?
Hello.
Good morning.
I want to share something real quick before we move on, if that's okay.
Go for it.
So Brittany's dad, Nathan, he's got a lot going on besides just this tragedy. His mom is at the end of her battle with cancer. He's got health problems, needs a double bypass for his heart. He flew to Dallas this morning, hoping his mom would hold on long enough for him to get there. And he made it to Dallas and was involved in a head-on car crash.
Oh my God! No.
He's okay. He's hurt, but he's at the emergency room, and every day he's being checked out, and he's going to keep me updated. So if y'all could pray for Brittany Brewer's family right now, they need it. They have so much on their plate.
Most certainly.
Thank you.
Prayers. I'm sending prayers.
Wow. What else can one family take? You got a mama about to die, head-on collision,
He's
and your daughter was just murdered.
and he needs a
Oh.
bypass surgery.
Yeah.
And his brother is in the Green Berets in the army, and he is deployed fighting in a war right now, and they don't think he's going to be able to make it back for their mom.
Oh,
So, yeah, their plate is overly filled.
their family will definitely be in our prayers.
Oh, there's Steve. Sorry.
I have OJ that sneezes in the microphone and tries to push the laptop off, and Country Girl's Life has Steve
And the dogs.
and the dog.
But yeah, I just found that out. He flew out this morning. You know, it's a pretty quick flight from here. And posted, you know, he made it. And then I got the message that he had been in that car accident. And I don't know. It's a lot.
Did he fly out of Tulsa or Oklahoma City?
I'm not sure. I think Tulsa, if I'm correct. Let me check.
That's about an hour and 15-minute flight to Dallas.
Yeah, it's real quick.
Because it's a 45-minute flight to Oklahoma, from Oklahoma City to Dallas. I made it every other weekend as a kid to go see my dad.
The last time that I flew to Dallas, it took about 30 minutes. We must have caught like a tailwind or something. Because I'm telling you, they didn't even have time to bring me my Bloody Mary, and we were landing.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, he flew out of Tulsa.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about an hour and 15-minute flight.
Yeah, it's one of those you like reach cruising altitude and then it's time to land.
Yeah.
Well, and anytime you fly out of Oklahoma, you're going to stop in Dallas. There's a saying that when we die and go to heaven, we have to stop at DFW on the way.
I believe that.
Well, where I live in Oklahoma, I fly out of Dallas. I don't fly out of Oklahoma City or Tulsa anymore. I fly out of Dallas because I'm closer to Dallas than I am to Oklahoma City or Tulsa.
Yeah, you would be. Do you fly out of DFW or Love Field?
It just depends on if I'm flying Southwest or whatever airline's cheapest, except I won't fly Spirit. I either fly Southwest or Delta.
Since I sit between both cities, I just pick who can get me out the fastest.
There you go.
Because Love Field is strictly for Southwest Airlines.
Yeah. Yeah, because when we would go to Padre Island, we would have to fly through Love Field.
We have a beach house in Port Aransas, Brooks.
Woohoo! Let's go.
Dang, I need to fly there.
I know. I think we need a Crime Lines and Lies and Country Girl vacation.
Oh, heck yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right, let me finish this real quick and we'll get on to the next part.
Okay.
Not to my knowledge has the FBI been called in yet, Ashley.
Do you have any information about what the OSBI has at least been able to learn and convey to your clients, to the Websters, to the Brewers, to the extended family members of Holly's children?
No. At this time, they've just shown a great deal of cooperation to communicate with me and to communicate with Justin. I have a private investigator who was a former FBI agent, retired FBI agent. She has gathered information in regard to the electronic devices that were used that address as a location. We have other people, and I have forwarded that information to the OSBI. And right now, I want to be careful not to obstruct their investigation and reveal the information that we have uncovered, but it's deeply concerning about that house about the people related to that house and other events.
Thank you for watching. Go to news.
And events, other people related to that house. Yeah, see, the attorney's on it.
Mm-hmm. 32 devices registered to that house, to
Yeah.
that address.
Does Homeland Security not pick up on that? That's one. I mean, that I thought Homeland Security was supposed to monitor that stuff. That's federal. So,
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm going to tell you right now, my mother-in-law has a ton of cell phones. She forgets her passcode to get into the cell phone and she goes to Walmart and buys another one. Okay. Still, I mean, Homeland Security needs nothing with her. But when someone with Jesse's record has 32 cell phones, why did Homeland Security not pick up on that? I think this is a little bit, I think a lot of balls were dropped and not just on the Oklahoma side.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, they were let down on so many different levels. There's, at least a dozen different ways that this could have been prevented, that this didn't have to happen. It's just heartbreaking. Sorry, Steve's got feelings about this case.
I want to know what was in the storage locker.
They didn't find anything in there.
Okay.
As soon as I heard about that, I was like, oh no. After seeing that house, what's going to be in there? But Ivy's dad said that I guess they had fallen behind on payments or whatever, and it had been locked by the storage facility, so nobody could get in or out except the storage facility. And when they opened it up, it was just like pool stuff, things like that. It was nothing bad. And he said they searched all those semi-trailers that were on the property too, and there was nothing in those either.
Okay.
Well, I wondered about that because I know, Steve, I'm with you. Because supposedly, if I'm being told correctly, but you never know, the landlord is a over-the-road truck driver. He's an owner-operator. So he owns a few rent houses, but he's gone a lot, and those trailers are his.
Brittany's dad was telling me whoever the landowner is, for whatever reason, isn't supposed to be renting homes. I don't know the story there, but he said that McFadden and the family were living there and listed as caretakers of the property and were living there for free. Now, tell me that isn't a red flag that this landowner is involved somehow on some level.
Oh, that's a huge red flag.
And I have a question. I heard through rumor that Jesse was kin somehow to the landowner. Is that true?
I asked, and Brittany's dad and Ivy's dad have both heard that, but none of us have been able to confirm it yet.
Oh, okay.
Now, what about on Holly's side through some acquaintances of her mother's where they are connected to the Branch Davidian?
Oh, I don't know about that. I'll have to ask Justin about that.
I told Justin about it yesterday, and he told his lawyer, and Nucky got in contact with some people, and it's a thing. I mean, it may not be connected to this. It's just one more weird ass thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of weird ass things. A lot.
Yeah, I think the landlord is probably a part of the church, and that's why they were living there for free.
Well, and I think a lot of them
He was being provided.
Sorry, I'm going to mute myself so you don't have to listen to Steve scream.
I think
a lot of them closing the cases has to do with the church too. Is that what you're saying, Brooks?
Oh, I think that the reason they wanted it open and shut is because of the landlord.
Yep, me too. Exactly what I
then
thought.
that means that there's a lot of people that are being misleading because it's claimed that it was in Holly's name, the home, when they were renting it, or the mom's of Jesse's.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So somebody's going around, I'm sorry, lying about it.
Yeah, according to Nathan, Brittany's dad, it was in Jesse's name. He was listed as the caretaker anyway. And I guess according to Justin, there's other properties that Jesse has ties to that they're going to be searching as well.
Good. Because I guarantee you stuff is going on there too.
Yeah, and even that ranch that his family has in McAllister where the kids went swimming all the time, I mean, even it needs to be looked at, in my opinion.
I think anybody Jesse and Holly ever talked to or breathed on needs to be looked at.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and Ivy's dad said that there were like 3 or 4 other girls that Jesse wanted to come that night, and a woman that he met on a dating site. Like, why was this guy on a dating site? Well, I know why he was on a dating site, but, you know, I mean, why the need to drag in all these other innocent people? If you want to take yourself out, do it, but don't drag all these other innocent people into it.
Oh, exactly. And the reason he was on these dating sites, he was on those dating sites and everything, is because he would use these women to get to their children. Funny that Jesse is not interested in women that have no children.
Yep.
Well, and one of the most disturbing things that Ivy's family was telling me about was Riley, the 17-year-old. And we know that's kind of his age, you know, that's the age he likes. That's what he got in trouble for initially. And Riley had a problem. She was involved with an older boy, and they pulled her out of school and switched her to virtual. When they found out about it, they nailed her windows shut and made her start sleeping on the floor of their bedroom. And I was like, man, I was hoping, you know, she's 17, maybe she was about to get out of there, she was going to go to college, whatever. And they said Jesse never would have let that happen. They said Jesse acted like a jealous boyfriend when it came to Riley.
Oh.
And you know, the mom had to pick up on that. And it made me sick. But they said that's how he was about Riley, was like he was a jealous boyfriend. It's disturbing.
She knew that. Holly knew that. Holly knew everything that was going on there, in my opinion. I mean, come on. Regardless if she was all the way involved, but in my opinion, she was. She knew what was going on. She didn't say nothing. She's just as damn guilty.
And Riley had reported abuse to, I believe, the school and then like the Department of Family Services. And why wasn't that looked into?
Oh my God. It just gets worse.
That school should have automatically got with CPS and all that when she said something.
Yeah, when I heard that, I was kind of gobsmacked. I'm like, how? She reached out to 2 different places and it wasn't looked into further. That's why I said there's at least a dozen different times that somebody could have intervened where this wouldn't have happened. And it starts with Department of Corrections letting him out and just goes down from there.
Slim has a good point, and this has been discussed a lot. We may have to make a Facebook group with all our ideas and everything.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm slow to the punch. I didn't even think about that. Lynn says, I'm wondering if Riley got pregnant by Jesse even more now.
You know, I hate to think that, but I mean, it's entirely possible. I Ivy's family had said that Jesse and Holly were pregnant with twins and she had miscarried, and that maybe that was where the toddler clothes came from. Now, they said that according to the OSBI, and he showed me the text, they are not aware of the bloody clothing that the aunt was talking about. But they said if there were toddler clothes in the home, they had been buying stuff in preparation for these kids before Holly had a miscarriage, that even Tiffany had gotten some stuff. So I don't know. And is that true, or was, God, I don't even want to go down that. I didn't let my mind go there, but what if Holly didn't have a miscarriage? What if it was Riley?
It might have been Riley.
Yeah.
And why do these psycho women always say they're pregnant with twins? It's never one baby. Look at Letitia. They're
Yep.
all having twins.
Twins. Yep.
Oh, and Justin said that, and this, I was just disgusted. She took the kids to prison to meet Jesse while he was in there, and that had to be shut down by the warden because he's not supposed to have contact with kids. She was taking those kids to the damn prison.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And you are going to damn tell me she didn't know nothing going on.
Amen.
And when he married her, he had a parole officer. Why was the parole officer not contacting CPS saying this woman has children?
Well, and a lot of people were saying, oh, maybe she hid the kids when they came to check. But when you pull up to that property, there's bikes parked like alongside the house. There's a basketball hoop laid down in the front yard. There's like kids stuff all around. It's very obvious when you pull up to that property that there are kids there.
Yeah.
So I don't buy that. I don't think he was being checked on.
No, I don't think so either.
He can't have been. There ain't no damn way in hell he was being checked on, because all this shit wouldn't have went down if he was being checked on. Hell, his ass shouldn't even been out of prison.
No, in my mind, he had these good behavior credits, but why those should have been taken away when he got in trouble in prison with a phone with CP on it, which is directly correlated to what he was in there for in the first place. Those good behavior credits should have just disappeared as soon as that happened.
Exactly.
I'm like, so what if I go to prison and I'm good for the bulk of the time I'm there? 3 years before I get out, could I shank somebody and still get released? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Looks like it. And look what his good behavior was. Washing his ass.
Right? How is that good behavior, having good hygiene?
Yeah.
How's it good having good behavior, raping other men in your jail cell with you?
Exactly. I think if you're going to have good behavior points, then there should be some sort of like deduction system for when you get in trouble.
Yes.
It's
Good
ridiculous.
behavior should be you're taking sex offender classes, you're taking you're getting your GED, or you're taking college classes, or you're working. That should be good behavior credits.
But even if they did all of that and then did what he did, that should all go away. It shouldn't matter anymore.
Taken away.
Exactly. Exactly. He shouldn't be able to earn nothing. His ass should just stay there the rest of his damn life.
He should have never been let out.
Absolutely not. And it shouldn't have taken 6 years for him to finally have a trial date on those new charges.
Well, what pisses me off is they're talking about the pandemic. Anyone that lives in Oklahoma knows we didn't really have a shutdown.
Hell no, we didn't. Governor Stitt was pushing for us to be like the first state that was open.
We barely had a shutdown.
Yeah, especially in the smaller towns.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter's school, it was like kind of like, well, you can wear a mask if you want to. And yeah, I mean, it was very relaxed. It wasn't super strict. And like you said, Brooks, it didn't last that long. And when he initially got in trouble, we weren't in the pandemic.
No, that was in 2017. So their new excuse is, well, we can't jail somebody for something they're not convicted of. David L. Moss here in Tulsa is full of people awaiting trial. What are you talking about?
Well, how about we've got Brian Koberger up in Idaho sitting in jail waiting to go to trial.
That's right.
Well, I mean, that's in Idaho, but I mean, right here in Oklahoma, we've got plenty of people sitting there waiting.
That's BS. I know people that get in trouble for less than that sit in jail. That's just a BS excuse in my book.
Yep.
Go back and try again.
Did you guys hear, I'm getting ready to play it, his cellmate, when he was in prison, the guy was in there for burglary. So how you put somebody that's there for burglary in the same cell as Jesse, I'll never know.
Is this the guy that was pen pals with Holly?
Yes, he dated Holly too.
Yeah, she said she loved him.
How the hell does that happen? What, Holly?
Because he said that when he saw she had married him, he was shocked.
Yeah, everyone, you've got to see this. So when her mom says she fell for Jesse's charms, no, Holly had a pattern. He liked these people.
Well, and if she's taking the kids to prison to see him and the warden's like, hey, they can't be here, she knew when he was in prison.
Yeah,
this wasn't new information to her.
The warden is not an actress.
No. And this actress, now both Brittany and Ivy's family told me that that's true. They did pay an actress, so I'm not going to argue with them on that. But my thing is, the only person that has said anything about that is Holly's family.
Yeah.
And where is this actress? Don't you think she would be coming out saying, I effed up? Like,
because the actress didn't happen.
Exact. That's my thinking.
So mom made it up to make herself look good.
Yes.
To make her daughter look good.
They said the aunt was removing evidence, flushing stuff down the toilet. They're trying to cover their asses and Holly's.
Yep.
Well, in my opinion, if there was a daggone actress, then they need to have that person step forward so we can see if it's actually true.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. Where is she? And if you notice in the interview where the family talked about the actress, Banfield Beige asked, did you tell the police? And the aunt said no. Why wouldn't you tell the police?
Because she's in their imagination.
Exactly. She's like, well, I called the police about this and that and the other, but you didn't tell them that? Don't you think that's kind of important? Yeah. Right there, I was like, I don't believe this actress story. Or you would have told the police.
Well, see, and I'm doubting the school story, and let me tell you why. It's pretty much the same protocol in every school district. If a child complains about a safety danger at home, that child does not go home.
Yeah, they're mandated reporters.
They are. They call Department of Human Services, they call the local police, and that child does not leave that school, even if the principal has to sit there with that child all night and sleep in the damn gym. They do till they get it sorted out.
And if she had reached out to Children's Protective Services, they would have been on that. That's why I said, why wasn't it looked into? Something about that didn't sit right with me.
No, I just, there's just too many rumors and stories I'm not buying. And the thing is, the facts as we know them, the actual facts, are freaking jaw-dropping.
Yes, the truth is bad enough without all of the rumors that are out there. The truth is horrifying enough. And the truth about how they were let down, maybe the thing with Riley reporting, maybe that didn't happen. Maybe that's not one of the failures, but there are plenty of true failures that can be seen by, you could be blind as a bat and see these failures.
If Riley was going to tell the school people about what was going on, why wouldn't she tell the grandparents or anybody else in the family? And if they did know, why didn't they call CPS?
Well, and as often as these kids were at Ivy's house, it's shocking to me that they didn't say anything to their friends, to the friends' family. They didn't come across like, when kids are going through stuff, you can kind of tell like something's off.
They were conditioned by Holly to hide it.
And I know he was really controlling, and I feel like there were probably threats like over their head as well. Like, if you say anything, I'm going to hurt your mom, and if Holly said anything, he was going to hurt the kids, maybe something to that effect. I don't know. But maybe all the restraints and stuff, maybe that is new. I don't know. I don't think they are, but maybe. But something had been going on in that house for a long time.
Yeah.
They didn't just get all those computers and laptops and cell phones and VCR tapes and all of that. That didn't just happen that weekend.
No.
And that's why I feel Holly completely knew everything going on, because he's going to have all this stuff in that home, and you're, oh, what is this? So she knew. And nobody's going to convince me or say anything otherwise. She knew.
And then here we go. This V. Oakley said, I can hear, we don't talk about what goes on in this house type stuff. And that is the truth. That is the truth. Mrs. O said, fear, shame, and guilt are powerful.
Yep.
And kids act different all the time. You never know what anxiety, mood, thought, whatever they have going on. You can't read into everything that nobody would assume it's something like this. If you assume there's a sex dungeon at their home, there'd be something wrong with you.
Plus, it's humiliating and embarrassing. Brooks, you kind of know my story of, from the ages of 9 to 13, I was forced to live with my biological mother when she married a man. He forced her to take me from my grandparents and live with her because my grandparents never got formal custody of me. And from the ages of 9 to 13, I was abused in every single way. And it was the shame, the humiliation, and the embarrassment that kept me from telling anyone what was going on. I was embarrassed. I was humiliated. No one knew.
I love you, girlfriend. I know.
I know I just met you, but I love you too.
Yeah. Thank you. So, those kids, they weren't telling anybody because they were embarrassed. Who wants to be the kid that's abused,
They don't. They want the perfect family. They don't want to admit to people that, hey, I've got to meet my dad at the Quick Trip every other Friday because he's not allowed to come back to the house he bought for me and my mom because she's got a new boyfriend. They don't want to admit what goes on at home because they're too humiliated. And of course, yours is on a totally different level. No. Joe said hugs from a survivor. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Tina said, I never told my mom. And we have story after story after story about that. So anyone that thinks they can read a child's mind is out of their mind. You can't.
And I continued to have straight A's in school. I played competitive fast pitch softball, travel softball, and gymnastics. I mean, there was no clue anything was going on.
And it's interesting you say this, because I'm looking at the extracurricular activities that Holly's children had, and they were very active in school.
Yep.
And to people like Jesse and Holly, to keep up appearances, these things are needed. If a kid is a recluse and they show up to school and they eat like they're going to the chair at lunch every day, and they had nice clothes.
Yep.
They were active in track, band, you name it. And then they go home to hell. That's what's going on here.
Yeah, they were in choir. They did sports. Tiffany was a straight A student. Everything on the outside looked perfect. But we don't know what's going on behind closed doors, and that's what this story is about.
Took the words right out of my mouth, this country girl.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And they hung out with their friends. They had slumber parties all the time, just normal kid stuff.
Yeah, I did too. And that was the only time that I wasn't abused,
Well, and I think, probably a lot of it, that's why they spent so much time. Ivy lived about a quarter mile away, and they were going to give Tiffany a key to the house because she was there so often. And I'm sure that's why they were so involved in so much stuff and hung out with her friends so often, was because that was their safe time.
Yep. All right, guys, I have to get off of here. I've got to get around to get to the city to get to my grandma and get her to a doctor's appointment later on this afternoon. I'm sorry, I gotta go.
All right, girlfriend, be careful. We got bad storms coming through.
Yeah, be safe.
I want to stay with her tonight with the storms coming through, because she has a hard time getting down those stairs into the storm shelter, and she's fallen now 2 weekends in a row and had to go to the ER.
Oh no.
So with the storms coming, I'm going up there. But
all right, well, be careful. Let me know how it goes.
I will. Yeah, bye, y'all. Thank you for having me up.
Bye. Be safe.
Thank you. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
You ready for these storms, Brooks?
Always.
Yep.
I sleep right through them.
I do too. It's like, it's May in Oklahoma.
Yep. Oh, I know. People are like, "Are you okay, Brooks? I saw all this." And I'm like, "Yeah, I saw. It looks like someone dropped a living room in my front yard. But other than that, I'm good."
Yeah. People that don't live here are always like, "Oh my gosh, these storms are coming. Are you ready?" And I'm like, I wake up every day. It could be beautiful, sunny, no clouds in the sky, and I know that at any minute a tornado could pop up. So yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. If it's my time, it's my time.
That's what I always say. I'm like, if it's my time to go, it's not going to matter like what I do. I'm going.
Mrs. O, your devices are not connected. All right, let's look at this real quick, because my face fell off when I found out Holly had been dating yet another inmate.
He was a very good manipulator. He's always trying to manipulate me, in just weird ways.
Tonight, we're hearing from a former cellmate of Jesse McFadden.
McFadden, as you know, is the man police say killed 5 children, his wife, and himself last week.
In a story you'll see only on Fox 23. Fox 23's crime and safety reporter Abigail Dye joins us live here in studio. And Abby, we want to be clear, the man you spoke with was not in prison for any kind of violent or sexual offenses.
That's right, Sarah. We want everyone to know that. It's important to know. I looked him up and he was serving time for burglary. And he says it was always clear to him that McFadden was a threat and was going to offend again. Unfortunately, he was right. Locked up with a dangerous man.
We were cellmates for about 16 months, maybe a little bit longer than that.
While James Fleming was serving time for burglary, he met Jesse McFadden, who we've told you police say killed 5 children, his wife, and himself.
His weird sexual predatorness just like came out of him. Like everything that we talked about it always led to like a sexual comment or innuendo.
Fleming.
Gross. You're in the cell with Jesse. I couldn't imagine anything worse. Well, not as well, second to worse. And he said everything is an innuendo. Always making a sexual comment. We lost Amanda.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to imagine, like, I don't know. Can you imagine 16 months with that guy?
No. I can't believe that they were put in the same cell because he's a nonviolent offender.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I know the prisons are crowded, but I thought they kind of kept the violent and nonviolent people separate.
Hello, Mrs. O. You're so beautiful today. What's going on?
Hello, darling.
Sorry
about my voice. Sorry
okay,
about my
baby.
voice. I've been recuperating about a cold.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, no, it's North Florida and South Georgia allergy situation. No, I'm gonna turn my camera off. Is that okay?
Yeah.
No, this case is getting darker and darker by the day. This situation is so awful. I don't think she's innocent by any stretch of the imagination. And when a child reports something at school, I am a special ed teacher, well, non-practicing right now. I am a full-time Mimi. When a child reports something at school, something like that, every teacher, every administrator, every person that work at a school is a mandated reporter. So if a child come to a school with something like that, it is your duty and it's your responsibility to report that to the authorities and
That's
to
why
follow
I think
up.
it didn't happen. That's why I think it didn't happen because it's the same protocol here, and the child is actually not allowed to leave the school until it's sorted.
Absolutely.
And then
Yes.
there's many follow-up visits to the home to make sure that when the child gets home, they're not beaten to hell and back for telling what's going on at the home.
Exactly. I work in an inner city school, and it was a difficult school. It was kids where most of the parents that work, one of the parents was incarcerated, or one of the parents was working like in the streets, or there was not one of the parents were not in school, not at home, were situations like that. So we saw things like that all the time. So the protocol was if the child comes like in a state where we knew that like there was lice, or we know that they were not eating or not well taken care of, we knew that that was a report that we needed to do. And if there was something that a child came and made a comment or a report like that, you knew that was a report that had to be done right away. And that had to be followed up right away. Most of the time, and I don't know in Oklahoma, but in Arizona and now here in Florida, there is a deputy that is always at school. And those deputies always follow up, always. And that child, that's
Henrietta is a big school system. It's not like they just have It's not like they just have 100 kids in the class. They have a good sized school district.
Exactly.
I just don't see how in the hell she could have reported something this heinous and no one give a damn. I just think there's a lot of rumors going on with this case. I'm not calling anyone a liar. It's just there's a lot of hearsay. We have a telephone game. This one hears this. This one hears that. This one hears that. And it's all facts, and it's not.
Well, and that also is bothersome. All the rumors. All the rumors are bothersome because what is being covered? Why all the rumors? If there was nothing to be covered, why are there rumors? Why was
social media is a monster. This time last week, they were saying that the kids had been disemboweled.
Mm-hmm. Social media can be helpful, but it can be an evil. It can be evil too. So I just wanted to happy and just say the school system failed these kids. And the mom, I don't know much about her story. If they were in some type of kinky stuff, they should have never involved these kids. And those kids saw those things. Those things were not hidden. Those things were everywhere. Everywhere. And that whole property should have been a crime scene. Just like the Mordag, that whole property should have been a crime scene.
You're right.
The police fail completely in that situation. What is going on? My question is, what is going on and what are they trying to hide? Who is involved? And the fact that it was a unaliving and self-unaliving doesn't mean that it's a case closed. No, let's follow the trace and find out what really happened. Because this is bigger than just what happened in there. That's my opinion right here. That's my personal opinion.
I totally agree with you.
Especially knowing the story of this man. This man is a big word for him, of this garbage. And that's with respect. That's um disrespecting the garbage by saying that. So I am so grossed out by this. But anyways, I just wanted to hop in and say thank you for covering this case. Thank you for allowing me to come and express my opinion with my raspy voice, and staying to the facts, because people are trying to cover and making this like, no, I'm not gonna touch her because she's a victim. Yes, she's a victim. I understand that, but victims sometimes they are also involved in the situation. So we need to keep that clear too. So,
well, if she's a victim, she can tell the booger man down in hell about it, because that's the only person she's got to complain to now.
Exactly.
Yes. Take your grievance up to him.
Exactly. And not because she's dead. See, I have a problem with this. When people are dead, all of a sudden they are good people. Oh yeah, they're good because they're dead. No. Not because they're dead, it erased their past or what they did. Absolutely not.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
That's right.
No.
Amen.
No. Because they're dead, it doesn't erase what they did. No. I respect their memory. I respect their life and whatever, but it does not erase what they did. So that's my opinion. That's those are my 2 cents. And I stay to the facts, and I on the side of the law. On this side, the law sucked and they failed. So
they failed. Well, I love you, beautiful. Thanks for coming up, and hope you get
Thank
to feeling
you, darling. Thank you, darling. I love you, and I'm so glad that you guys are here. To the panel, I love you guys, and to the chat, you guys are awesome. Thank you, and the mods,
Love you, and
I
I hope you feel
completely
better.
respect you. Oh, thank you. I'm just getting through these North Florida allergies. So thank you guys. Have
I
fun.
understand.
Bye.
I made out with the judge and got a cold, so I understand that.
Yes, you did. I just love when Mrs. O comes up. I love her accent and everything she has to say. And she's just always so loving and everything. I want to cue the song. Can you feel the love tonight?
Love tonight.
I would play it, but God only knows what YouTube would do to me.
You know, when my mom worked at an elementary school, like, God, 20, 30 years ago, even if they suspected abuse, they had to make a report. So the whole thing with Riley, that came from Brittany's dad. And like you said, there are so many rumors. So maybe he heard it from somebody that he trusted and thinks that it's true. But I feel like it would have been looked into had that happened.
Particularly if what was reported was really reported.
Right. He just said abuse.
Okay, well.
But you know people that work in social services, you know that would have been taken seriously.
Well, yeah, and I have a cousin who works for a local school district, and we've had conversations before, not about this case or really any other case, just chit chat. And what they do in school if a child reports, anything, it's not taken lightly. Now, back in 1985, it would be. I mean, back in 1985, you'd be like, you could tell them anything and they'd be like, you shouldn't say that about your family.
Well, I'm not understanding. The school has to know that this has been stated. Why are they not coming out saying, no, we were never told this? The principal needs to come out and verify if this happened or not and found out who she told and what all was stated.
Oh, you're exactly right. I think there's a lot of things that needs to be addressed. A lot. Right now, I want to know why Holly was also dating the cellmate. How could she have dated the cellmate and married Jesse? I mean,
I'm wondering if that cellmate wasn't involved in a lot more than what he was stating too.
Well, I tell you what, it makes you wonder, because he was dating her. He wanted to know why her last name changed, and she said, I married Jesse. Well, I wasn't invited to that wedding shower. God.
Grooming says McFadden moved prisons in 2016, but he kept up with the news of the child porn charges filed on McFadden while he was still in prison.
If you're in prison for a sexual offense already, and then you get more sexual offenses while you're in prison, there should be a humongous red flag there.
So you knew when Jesse got out that he could potentially be dangerous.
Abigail, he made such a big impact on my life and in the short amount of time that I knew him, that when I got out of prison, I contacted the cops about him.
Fleming message.
I love how the cellmate is on first name basis with the news reporter. Abigail, let me tell you something. Like he's known her for years. Abigail, let me tell you something.
Well, don't you think if Holly was dating him, at some point he would have been like, oh my God, my cellmate is this awful person and he makes me feel this way and he's done this stuff. So again, like when I started covering this, I don't want to victim blame anybody, but you can't cover this story and not say she knew.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the facts. And I'm side-eyeing him. I'm telling you, there's something about him. I get this feeling, eerie feeling about him.
real quick, I'm going to put in chat before I get back to Abigail and her new friend. This is Country Girls Life's channel. Well, this isn't. This is my channel. But I put the link in for her channel because she has a lot of great coverage on this as well.
Thank you, Brooks.
Anytime, sister. Speaking of, I have talked to quite a few people, from the area, and I'm like, will you come on the show? Will you come on the show? And they're like, no way. Nothing against you, Brooks, but I have to live in this county, and no way would I talk about this. Now, that's concerning in itself.
It is. That's why this goes so much deeper. Sorry, the dogs are fighting now. But I think a lot of people know a lot more, and it's all going to start coming out now that the OSBI is involved. And the families are telling them everything they know. So, the OSBI is going to go to the school and be like, hey, did this happen? And, they're going to leave no stone unturned. They said it could take 6 months to a year to just go through all the electronic stuff. Yep. But they'll get answers.
It's going to take a long time to go through all those hard drives and 32 cell phones, broken cameras, the whole 9 yards. It's going to take a long time. I'm thinking Homeland Security at this point has got to be involved. Not that they tell me anything, but you know the drill. All right, let's go back to this where he says he's talking to his old buddy Abigail.
So you knew when Jesse got out that he could potentially be dangerous.
Abigail, he made such a big impact on my life in the short amount of time that I knew him, that when I got out of prison, I contacted the cops about him.
Fleming messaged Henrietta police asking if there was a sex offender registry. They replied saying the state has a list. And Fleming replied saying he couldn't find McFadden on it, saying, quote, I normally would not get involved, but I know he's a predator with multiple offenses.
And he is. But according to the chief in Okmulgee, he was on the list. It can't be both ways. Did you ever find him on the list, Country Girls Life?
No, ma'am. Not on Oklahoma's. No, he's not there. But he's on the national registry, apparently, but he is not on Oklahoma's. And I checked multiple times.
I found him on the national registry, not on the Oklahoma one. And I know several people asked me, is he tribal? He's not an Indian.
No. And that wouldn't matter, I don't think, if you're an SO.
And he's not in the Klan either. He needs to quit telling people he was in the Klan.
No, I don't know. It's just, it's so discouraging to think we're in Oklahoma. So if we want to look for somebody, we're going to go to our state registry and he's not there. I mean, I guess let that be a lesson. You need to search the national registry as well.
The police never replied to that.
I wanted to shed some light on him. I wanted the spotlights to get turned on him.
He also sent this message to Holly McFadden, who he once dated. He asked about her name changing, and she replied.
He sent this to Holly, who he once dated. And she sent this reply to him that she's now married to Jesse. Listen to this again. This is so important.
And I wanted the spotlights to get turned on him.
He also sent this message to Holly McFadden, who he once dated. He asked about her name changing, and she replied that she had married Jesse.
Everybody there?
Yes, ma'am.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Holly, for someone who just got wooed by the charms and is considered to be a shy girl, she was described as backward on one channel. She makes her way around, does she not?
Yes.
Absolutely. Maybe this guy hadn't done anything bad enough for her to stay with him. I don't know.
That's it. He couldn't hold his own. She's like, no, I need a good old rape or murder on my hands. You're just a burglar.
Right? It doesn't make sense.
It's like she had to talk. Oh, he was bad, but he's badder. Let me get with him.
I mean, who looks to prisons as your dating options?
Oh no, she talks to her boyfriends. It's like, well, my last boyfriend, they were gonna give him life, but he got out early for washing his ass. He knew all this.
He was a good ass washer.
Yeah.
So let him out.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe what my last boyfriend did. Oh my gosh. When he went after that girl, she was in the hospital for a long time and they said she could never have children afterwards. You need to step up your game, buddy.
Yep.
That's how Holly dates. I got to hear that again.
Applied to that.
I wanted to shed some light on him. I wanted the spotlights to get turned on him.
He also sent this message to Holly McFadden, who he once dated. He asked about her name changing, and she replied that she had married Jesse.
In my mind, I want to just warn her, but at the same time, I know how he is, and I didn't want to say something and him read the messages and retaliate to her.
Then the 7 bodies were found.
Here we are, 3 or 4 months later. Holly's dead. The kids are dead. 2 other innocent kids are dead, and nothing's ever going to bring them back.
Fleming echoes of what we've heard from a lot of people in this situation. He says he wishes that McFadden wouldn't have been let out of prison as early as he did while those additional charges were pending.
You've done such a good job covering this story, and you're so thorough in it. We're kind of wondering, Fleming wasn't McFadden's cellmate at the time that he was sexting that underage girl, but did he ever see him with a phone?
Well, he didn't see him in person with a phone, but he does tell me that he knew of McFadden having a phone. He bragged about having a phone before they were cellmates, and Fleming said that McFadden was even caught with that phone. Now, I'll have more on that story coming up for you on Fox 23 News at 10.
And Fox 23 at 10 was basically the exact same story we heard from Fox 23 at 6. Don't you love when they do that Country Girls Life and you have to wait until 10? It's the same shit.
Yes. Be sure to tune in because we'll have further details, and no, you don't.
No. Oh, no.
You know, I just had a thought. I wonder how into her brother-in-law she might have been.
Oh, boy.
I hate to say that, but he's a real piece of work. I wonder if she was like, damn, I should have held out for the brother.
I'm sorry to say it, but they more likely had threesomes.
Ugh.
Yep.
I'm probably going straight to hell just for thinking that, but damn.
I know I had to say it. And I had to say it.
No, you're right. And for those that missed the show yesterday, this is the brother. Here's the brother right here. And Beachfield is about to lose her mind. The brother, at one point, I guess you could say he was worse than Jesse. This dude's awful. He was using jumper cables on a woman. He had her locked in a dog cage. Look at this.
You've been hearing a whole lot about Jesse McFadden in the last week, the man who murdered his wife, her 3 kids, and 2 kids who came for a sleepover, and probably molested and maybe murdered many other children. Some of the children featured in photographs and ledgers found in his sex torture chamber home by family members of the victims, and then eventually by the police. And it turns out Jesse had a younger brother, still does, in prison, guy named Cody McFadden. And apple didn't fall far from Jesse's tree there.
Cody McFadden has quite a rap sheet of his own, sadistic and violent crimes. Let's just run through them since 2010, shall we? Making meth, assault with a deadly weapon, battery, aggravated assault, arson, assaulting a doctor, assaulting a police officer, cruelty to animals, and just most recently, last summer, that's July of 2022, he locked his ex-girlfriend in a dog cage for an entire day. He tortured her. He beat her bloody with a stick to the point where there was blood on every part of her body. He reportedly used jumper cables to electrocute her.
Woo! Holly picked the wrong brother. Now, when they say cruelty to animals, yeah, he did. But he also SA'd animals. He had a ton of peanut butter with him.
And I will never eat peanut butter the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he hit someone over the head with an axe too?
Oh,
Yeah,
is that
girl.
it? Oh, is that it? Just hit someone over the head with an axe? That's the least.
I mean, in addition to everything else.
That's it? That's all you got today, Cody? Son of a bitch, I want to know, when these parents got together, was it a full moon? Was lightning striking at the same time? Woo!
Like a deal with the devil or something.
Yeah. Ben said if she met him, the sparks would fly. Oh, you bet. You better believe it. My understanding is Mama McFadden is still alive, and she's heartbroken.
Ugh.
She's heartbroken. Well, I would send her a bouquet of flowers, but I have no shits left to give. If I had a pocket full of fucks, I wouldn't give her one.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't either.
She escaped, and he set his house on fire in a standoff with the police. He's currently in jail on kidnapping and felony assault. And to prove how dangerous he is, he's on $1 million bond. $1 million bond. This is a guy who reported he had zero assets, zero income, that his entire employment was considered food stamps.
Who was getting them out of jail? I know they stole $80,000 from the grandpa. Who is getting them out of jail?
Yeah, that is a good question. It makes me wonder if there were more people involved with money, maybe they were getting them out of jail to keep what was going on, the money-making dungeon of sex, whatever going on in that house. They got them out to keep it going on because they were investors in it.
Because I've looked all over the ODCR and I can't find who's bonded them out. I don't know what's going on there.
That's a good question.
A guy who has no money and gets $1 billion bond. That's a guy they don't want getting out. That's a dangerous, dangerous felon. And that's Jesse McFadden's dear brother. I want to bring in Robin Dreek. He's a retired FBI special agent who managed the Bureau's counterintelligence behavioral analysis program. Robin, first of all, let's just talk about Cody for a minute. How was a guy walking the streets as early as July of last year and able to commit that hideous and sadistic series of crimes against that girlfriend, that ex-girlfriend, with 15 years of violent criminal felony behavior? How was he walking the street last summer?
How's any of this happen, Ashley? This whole system down there right now is broken. As your last guest is saying, the former ADEC, he.
Now, here we go again. Here we go again with your encapitalizations.
The whole system down here is not broken. This situation is broken. It's a broken toy store. I mean, the whole thing. It is a burnt down Toys R Us. That's all I can say about it. There's nothing right about this whole thing. But when you say the whole system down there is broken, no, it's not. No, it's not. But someone's going to have to get control of a couple of counties.
Yep.
Articulated perfectly. Everything down there needs to be redone and revamped, and you need to bring in outside people right now. The leadership needs to be shaken up massively. I can't explain any of this. It's just tragic, all of it, internally, externally, everything.
I feel like the FBI should be all over it, and the Oklahoma authorities should just pack up and head out, especially how they're treating the press, telling the family members, we're not their friends, don't speak to the press, and then denying us any transparency at all when we just asked for the warrant. The results of the warrant, please. In the same place you screwed up so massively for 9 straight days. Can't get that either. Our Freedom of Information request was denied. No reason given other than the law, which is baloney, and we know it. Okay, the other thing I needed to ask you about is looking at Cody McFadden as compared to Jesse McFadden. Is there such a thing as a bad gene? It's shocking to me to see this much sadistic criminal behavior among brothers.
So yes, ish. I'll say it's always a blend of nature and nurture in situations. And
swear to God, if I find out Billy Joe Howell is somehow related to the McFaddens, I'm not going to be surprised.
It wouldn't surprise me either.
Because how can that happen? How can you have 2 sadistic, violent people in your family? I'm not talking about somebody with a temper problem. I'm not talking about a kid that dabbled in the drugs and got the other brother into it or whatever. I'm talking about sadistic things that a normal mind would never entertain. How can that happen? Because I don't believe Mom McFadden said, hey, if someone pisses you off, put him in a dog cage and shock him.
You learn by example, and as I've stated before, I feel like there was a lot of nasty stuff allegedly going in that home with them boys when they were younger.
And I think Holly too. People don't just graduate high school, go to trade school, go to work, go to college, however you decide to do it, and say, woo, you know what I want to do? I want to find me a sex predator from the jail. No. Chica said the McFadden's mom works for the courthouse. It just gets better and better.
Oh, yes, wow. So that makes sense how they got out. If she works at the courthouse, if she did, maybe allegedly she had something worked out with somebody at the jail.
Well, someone still has to have the cheese to get them out. And at the courthouse, if she's making $40,000 a year, I'd be shocked. Who's paying the money to get these freaks out? Freak 1 and freak 2.
Then the only place I can go back to is what I stated before, is somebody invested in what they were doing, helped pay to get them out.
You bet. You bet. You bet.
And clearly there's a lot of nature in here too, because lightning very rarely strikes twice to that degree genetically, but it couldn't happen. But definitely there's a lot of behaviors, and both these individuals have what I call reps. They had a lot of early reps in life and started with animal cruelty most likely, and started to abuse them, and they just kept escalating throughout their lives. And when you start feeding on that, and you're in a community that's feeding on that, and like I just learned on your show tonight, that there's a lot of other child offenders in the area, that is just a really bad situation where people are feeling safe to do really heinous crimes. And so that makes a recipe for disaster as well.
And that information came to us from the lawyer for Ivy Webster's parents. Ivy Webster, one of the sleepover children who had come for a slumber party and ended up murdered along with 6 others. The other question I have for you is it so far off to think that Cody may have engaged in any of the same criminal activities as his brother, given the fact that there was so much opportunity for Cody, who lived just around the corner and at one point lived in his mother's house with his brother when they were adults, so much opportunity for criminal behavior right inside that sickening farmhouse. Is it a stretch to think that maybe Cody might be involved as well?
I don't think it's a stretch at all. I mean, it makes sense. You have time and space overlaps. You have modus of life overlaps. They have very similar violent backgrounds. And so right now, and I love the fact that your last guest said one of the things the FBI does really well is the child protection task force that we have. And that is they come in and they can start drawing linkages through data online, through the dark web, all these things to start spreading this net out to kind of figure out who's who, who's doing what, find victims and find the perpetrators more than anything, because they're out there. We have an opportunity here if handled well.
Hey, Robin,
to do that.
wouldn't it be nice? Would it be nice if we could announce to that community that the Oklahoma State authorities, the Sheriff's Department, the FBI, they need your help. If you think you may have been abused by this person, we need your help to find others. Nope, they won't speak to us at all. They won't even tell us what they took from the house. I think they're covering their butts in the worst way at this point. And it's shameful to see what's transpiring in this awful, awful case. Robin Drake, this is not the last time we're going to talk. We're learning new things every.
She caught herself. She almost said state. In the last interview, she said, well, I know in that state. I'm like, woo, come on down. Let's have a picnic, Ashley. Yeah.
I was waiting for her to say asses again.
I tell you what, when Beishfield starts throwing out the cuss words, man, it takes me back to 1987 when Geraldo got his nose broken by a chair.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Wow.
That's when TV was good. That's when TV was good. I'll tell you what, that was awesome. I mean, he had...
And then Jerry Springer.
Mm-hmm. Little Bit said their mom's Pinterest has toys and certain things that are not okay. I don't really think there's anyone in this circle that's okay, with the exception of Ivy and Brittany's family. Who's okay in this? Holly's not okay. I don't care what her mama says.
I don't either. I don't care what anyone says. She was just as guilty as him. She was all in it. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, your opinion seems to be ironclad, my friend. Let me tell you why. Because she was hunting at the jail. And the more deviant the person was that would ride her back, the more interested she was.
Literally.
Yeah. Got to be kidding me. All right, so Beishfield has new video from inside the house. I would say it can't be worse than we've already seen, but you know what? Let's just roll the dice and look at this. Brown Eyes says she's definitely the groomer, in my opinion. Well,
I'm about scared to see some more of these things because I didn't even know what that gun massager was yesterday. I hate to say it. I didn't know what the hell that shit was. Poor innocent me thinking it had something to do with a computer or camera.
I know. Look at
I
this.
tell you.
We got to start doing church services for all this stuff.
Now that Jesse McFadden took a gun and gunned down 6 people, including 5 kids, his wife, and then himself. And this was where presumably he was living, and not just part-time, because it looks like there's evidence of them living there a long time. This is the living room. So I do want to show you that there are some brand new angles and things that we've highlighted that we didn't see before. A lot of computer equipment that was not seized, wasn't taken, hard drives, etc., all around here. You can see evidence that would have plenty of DNA on it, maybe hair fibers, follicles, anything that could identify other victims, maybe other perpetrators, still sitting there for the families to videotape. Families. This is what's so frustrating, is that it's the families doing this. It's not the police. The police should have cataloged every single inch of that horror home, but it's the families doing it. Don't know if the police eventually went in, but it was after the families. So the up-close pictures show a lot of restraints. You've seen some of them before, but you haven't seen all of them. And with regard to the restraints, there are restraints not just in the floor, there's the bathroom, there's also restraints on the walls. There's a restraint on the kitchen counter. What are you doing? What are you doing restraining someone to the kitchen counter?
Restraints on the kitchen counter.
On
VOP says
the
Ashley's.
bathroom floor.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And Holly didn't see all this shit?
Mm-hmm. Oh, Holly helped. Holly helped. Holly helped. Oh. Swear to God, my chest is getting
There
tight.
ain't no damn way in hell she didn't know this shit.
She probably stubbed her toe on the restraints. Stepping on one of those would be worse than stepping on a Lego. She had to have helped. She had to have helped. She damn sure didn't not see it. The kids saw it. What did they tell the kids? We're getting a bunch of dogs and we're going to have them in the house? What did they tell the kids?
The only damn victims are those 5 kids or any other child that they damn tormented and harmed. Those are the damn victims, and people need to get the shit straight. Period. That's my opinion. And I don't care if anybody damn agrees. It's the damn facts and truth.
We got you, girlfriend. We're right there with you. I agree 100%. Raspberry says no deposit back for that. I'm telling you. Can't send that security deposit back to hell, can you? You're exactly right, Amanda. She knew. And by the way, these aren't, these wouldn't be easy projects to do, okay? When my husband changes the bag in the vacuum cleaner, it takes a 6-pack of beer in 3 hours. Something like a restraint put into a cement floor would take a while.
Wouldn't you kind of hear it, Holly? Them drilling to put it in the floor? Wouldn't you hear it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you know, like when men do things around the house, you know, you're going to hear about it for a while. Well, don't you remember when I did this, or I've got to fix this, or I fixed this last week, or my back's hurting from this, or, you know, all that stuff. Could you just imagine the bragging around the house? Holly, I put in 18 restraints over the last couple of days. Can you make me a steak, bitch?
Oh, Holly, allegedly, I got your honeydew list done for you.
Yeah. I've been working on all those restraints, honey.
Got them all done for you, babe. You want to try them out?
Mm-hmm.
Make
Good.
sure they work.
Good God.
Hey, let's go get that donkey dong in the kitchen.
Yeah. Let's test this out with the restraints. I've been working all day on this for you.
Because you know, I know, you know, we have butterflies for each other.
Butterflies, charms, you name it. Restraints, Brinks locks.
Restraints. There are restraints not just in the floor, there's the bathroom. There's also restraints on the walls. There's a restraint on the kitchen counter. What are you doing? What are you doing restraining someone to the kitchen counter? Locks, padlocks, chains. And then we also have evidence from the families again that they moved a dresser and they found restraints in behind a dresser, taped to the back of a dresser that the police were not interested in. They actually said to the family member, no, it's fine. Unless you want it, you can throw it out. Unless you want it. What's the family member going to do with a bunch of sex restraints in a sex torture dungeon? And why on earth would you not think that there's DNA, skin cells, something on Velcro restraints that were discovered behind a dresser? Again, family members finding all of this. Now let's go into the hallway, because in the hallway, I'm going to pause as we get down the hallway. I want you to take a close look at the door, because if you look at the hallway door to that closet at the end that has a chair in it, you'll actually notice that there is a deadbolt lock on the outside.
Now then, besides the restraints on the kitchen counter, the bathroom floor, what have you, why would you need a deadbolt on the opposite side of the door? And there's a chair in there where obviously somebody was getting locked in there. And it wasn't Jesse.
Oh my God.
It wasn't Holly. Now, okay, when you rent a home, normally the lease says any changes you need to make to the house, let us know. Like if you would like to have a ceiling fan or screen in the porch, just let us know. We got to make sure we're keeping things up to code. If this landlord was on his game, he would know that restraints on kitchen counters, bathroom floors, and deadbolts that lock people in a room would not be up to snuff. You know, you can't go and re-rent that house out to anybody anytime soon.
Also, if something went wrong with like the toilet or refrigerator, the landlord's supposed to come in and check it out and maybe fix it. What if there was something that happened with the toilet that made it where it wasn't working properly? You're not coming in to check.
Mm-hmm.
And if you come in to check, you're not seeing all this shit.
That's what I want to know too. This is Oklahoma. We run the air conditioner more than the heat. And when your air conditioner goes out, I tell you what, you're going to get an HVAC guy faster than you would go to the ER with a heart attack, because you want that damn air going. So you're telling me all last summer they didn't have to have anybody check the air conditioner? It didn't peter out even one time? I doubt that. I doubt that. There's been no issue with the house at all, that no one had to go out there to look at it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And nobody went out there to check it?
Mm-hmm.
No. That's odd to me. That something don't feel right.
No. Disgusting. All right, so they have that highlighted right there. So you can lock people in the closet, and it looks like is that paint peeling? Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Outside, meaning you can lock someone inside that room. Maybe that's why there was a chair in there, but a deadbolt lock on the outside, keeping someone in potentially. Now I have video that we had not seen before of the girls' bedroom. That was something that made us very uncomfortable, because now knowing what the other rooms look like, this looked as though it was a regular teenage bedroom. It's just confounding to know that feet away are sex toys and weapons and drugs and syringes and restraints, chains, padlocks to the floor, to the walls. There's clothes in the closet for teenage girls. There's bedding that's still there. Nobody decided that maybe any DNA might be on that bedding that could be tested. Clouds on the ceilings, just like a normal teenager would have. Posters on the walls, toys, clothing. How long had this house been a torture chamber and a sex dungeon? And how long had it been teenage girls and a teenage boy living there with their mom and their stepdad of the last year? But this is just so uncomfortable to think it looks like such a normal bedroom inside that house of horrors. And by the way, those dungeony things were not hiding anywhere. They were right there in the living room. They were right there in the kitchen. They were.
And that's my thing. The stuff's in the bathroom. It's in the kitchen. It's everywhere. There's no denying it. Jenny said, Brooks, I'm ready to turn mine on, turn on the air conditioner. I used to try to wait till June 1st. That was always my rule. And then I'll turn it on June 1st. Well, this year, instead of going from, 70s to the next week, the 80s, and you can acclimate to the heat, we got hit with 90 all at once. So my air came on. I broke my own rule. But Beigefield is right. This stuff was not hiding. This was not a secret room just for Jesse and Holly. This was
all over the place.
It was all over. Exactly. Nani said, Beigefield, this is way more than uncomfortable. And you're right. 100%.
They were right there in the bathroom. They were right there everywhere. The drugs, the needles, the marijuana chocolate, the drawer full of drugs and alcohol, all of it was right out in the open. It wasn't being hidden from the kids that were clearly living there. So you now have to wonder, what was life like for those kids? Did they just think that's normal? Or were they part of it? In the computer room.
Now, I don't know where she's going with this, but she said, or were they part of it? Now, I will not in any way, shape, or form say that the children were part of it. I don't believe.
No, they didn't have a choice in it.
They didn't have a choice. They're kids. They're kids. I don't believe for a minute. I know what she's trying to say. I don't believe that they were bringing kids over for Jesse to abuse. I just don't believe that they were. But I have a lot of questions. I don't believe they're part of it. I believe 100% that they are victims. What I want to know is, where are the other friends? I know another girl was supposed to come over and she couldn't go. Where are all of Michael's friends? He was very active in school too. Where's his buddies? Boys always have a bunch of buddies they hang around. So
Yeah.
where are his buddies? Where were Riley's friends? I know she had an older boyfriend, and that made Jesse jealous. V. Oakley has a really good point. Teenagers video everything. Wonder if there's videos of them playing around and we can see any of this in the background. I'd like to know too, because I can't find their social media. Now, Country Girl's life went out there, and she said there was no secret that kids were living there.
Maybe they were afraid if they got older kids to come over there, they would be more amped to say something to their parent or some kind of adult. And they went for the younger ones because they can manipulate and kind of control them better.
Well, Jesse has a type. Let me put it that way. He has a certain age that he likes. That's the reason the toddler clothes that were bloody made no sense to me. So Ivy and Brittany would be his age range, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Angel P, thank you for the super sticker. Angel said, has the landlord spoken out? No, he has not.
One of the things about this house is that there were just so many computers, just multiple computers. Maybe they were for innocent teenagers doing their homework, and maybe they were for filming and storing and shipping porn, snuff porn, who knows? Nobody checked because the computers were all left behind, so were the hard drives, which is just unbelievable. To not just me, to the experts who've seen this, to the families who were gobsmacked by the fact that nobody wanted to check the keyboard for, DNA. Who was on that keyboard? It's unbelievable. There's a room with a lot of bags in it as well. And one of the things about the bags is that they were stuffed so full, it's hard to know what was in them. Could it be mementos, clothing, personal effects, belongings of potential former victims that came through that house? Hard to tell, don't know. Certainly the families were too nervous and worried about handling the bags look at all these bags up on the shelves. The families thought, well, don't touch them because the police surely will. Police left them behind, didn't want to know. Could it be a missing child's clothing, personal effects stuffed into those bags and stuffed up on a high counter or a high shelf? Who knows? And then Michael's room, the teenage boy. Inside Michael's room, hunting equipment, bows, knives. Don't know if they belong to Jesse. Don't know if they belong to the teenage boy. Have they been checked for human DNA? Could it have been possible since Jesse McFadden murdered 6 people? Maybe he murdered someone else? Maybe. Is it such a far conclusion? They were left behind. No one checked. And then the white car outside the house. The white car that, vanished the day after the police were there. Here's a close-up. The families looked inside to get a peek at what was in that car. Word is now it was Holly's car, possibly taken by her mom, Jan. But shouldn't the police have this impounded? Shouldn't they be taking every single piece of trace evidence out of there? Maybe there was someone in the trunk at some point. Maybe Holly.
Holly's mom took her car.
Wow.
Holly's mom has her car.
Why would she take her car?
Well, someone dies. People come out of the woodwork going, I'll take this. I'll take this. They're not using this anymore. I'll get a washer and a dryer. I'll get she just took her car.
But come on, you would think and you would know that most of the time they check vehicles also for evidence.
Uh-huh.
So why would you take a car? That's just like the landlord telling everybody to come in, check out, get whatever you want out of the house. Don't take her car until the authorities look through it.
That's what I'm saying. Annette said, I feel bad for the techs that have to look at these computer files. Me too, because they are going to get a belly full of nastiness. Steph said, why isn't the vehicle being strapped down? Exactly. Now that we know Holly's mom has her car, you need to call Dunlap Wrecker, go over there and pick the bastard up and take it to one of your labs.
Do it like they did BK's vehicle.
Yeah.
They took his car and stripped it. So that mom should have never took that vehicle. You don't know what kind of evidence was in that vehicle and you're just taking it?
Steph said, and take the mom in too. Who are you to help yourself to your dead daughter's car? The one you said you're grieving for, but you got a free ride out of it? God only knows.
Was a perpetrator. Maybe her husband Jesse used her car to kidnap kids. Maybe is a big word here. All this evidence left behind, and then suddenly the car is gone.
Thank you for watching.
Oh, it's gone. Ridiculous. Who helps themselves to a car?
That's a BS right there, and she should get in trouble for doing that.
Yeah. There's no will. Holly didn't have a will. There's no executor of the estate, if you know what I mean. That would be the state of Oklahoma, and we know what they've done with this case as it is. Did Holly's mom get the restraints out of the kitchen and the bathroom? I bet she didn't.
Yeah, it makes you wonder. Yeah, I wonder what all she did take besides the car.
Oh, I bet she just took the car and got the hell out of there. Maybe got her a few things, a few clothes and stuff like that. I think Mama knew her dark side more than she wanted to let on.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with that.
She knew this dark side way more than she's letting on. And these family members can keep going around and acting like she's some sort of saint and just got taken advantage of. The hell she is. Rock and Rolla said she's hiding evidence.
Yes.
They're more concerned with saving Grace, saving their good name, saving Holly's memory, whatever they think is going on, than doing the right thing. There's no reason her mother should have taken that car.
None whatsoever. They just want to make Holly out to be this sad, poor victim, and that she was done so wrong by LE, and they should have done this, which they should have. But you also should have done something too when you had your suspicions. You should have called CPS for your grandchildren, period.
For your grandchildren.
Because Holly already made her choice what in the hell she wanted to do with that man. And those kids shouldn't have been put in a position to have been treated. And because lack of family calling CPS, this is what happened to your grandchildren because you didn't step up.
Or didn't care.
But you cared about going and getting that damn car.
Yeah, you got a new car, didn't you? Like the Price is Right. You just want a new car. Come on down. Snook said to remove the locks, you would need the keys. Mom just wanted the car. Yeah, I was being sarcastic. I didn't think that she would want the restraints and everything around the house. I'm just like, it's all this mess going on, but you make sure you get you four wheels. Greed.
Yep.
Greed is what that is. Thank you, Snooks. Greed. I mean, we've seen it in our own families. Someone passes away, and next thing you know, people that you saw at a family reunion when you were 4 years old show up and go, "Oh yeah, I've always wanted that. I need a new TV. Well, I mean, I was just here to help you guys move this stuff out. Oh yeah, I still use VCRs. I got a bunch of tapes. I'll take that." That's what happens. Okay, but Mom shows up, Grandma, and grabs a car.
Y'all can have that. Those restraints and that big old elephant dong in the kitchen and that dang massage gun, but I'm taking the damn car.
I'm taking the car. I'm taking the car. Because she put this up, all the posts on Facebook, and the new talk about seven bodies found and mention Ivy and Brittany, but no mention of the other 4 found. Those other 4 were my daughter Holly, her children Riley, Michael, and Tiffany. My heart goes out to Ivy and Brittany's families, but they were not his only victims. My daughter loved her children, but yes, she married the man who killed them, but she was fooled by his charm. Okay, you know what I would have done with this situation when she showed up to get the car? I'd say, while you're at it, pick this up.
Yeah, take the chains and the locks and all the little toys and all that stuff. You have enough room in your new car, right?
Mm-hmm. Lone Wolf, thank you for the super sticker. Lone Wolf said, I know where Banfield is going with the kids and nobody is ready for the truth of facts. 3 of the victims were executed, not hunted down. You don't stage bodies and then commit suicide. More people involved. And I think there's something else going on too, for sure. I also want to know, you've got 5 against 2. You start shooting, someone's going to run, they're going to hide. They're going to fight, they're going to get away. One of them would have gotten away. I think they were drugged. But when go ahead, babe.
It just clicked in my head the reason why he had a bolt on that room door. I guarantee you, because just by your example of that outside, he probably locked the rest of them in that room while he would take turns with them. Or either lock them up in those chains. He would put them in certain places. That way they couldn't fight what he was doing to them. You see what I'm getting at?
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because when you have a deadbolt at the end of the hallway, what should be a towel closet, a linen closet, but all those shelves are out. You have a chair sitting there. It's a wonder we didn't see a commode or something like they did in the Cleveland abduction. And whoever gets put in there, you lock the door. But I'm telling you, those kids were drugged. Those kids were drugged. Maria, did the grandmother not ever visit the grandchildren? That's what I want to know too. Because when she showed up to get the car, I'd say, why don't you grab this? Why don't you take this off the wall and take it home with you?
Yeah, I don't understand that at all, why she never went over there. I don't understand why the dad, that Joe guy, why didn't he go there to even see his kids? The ones he was supposed to adopt.
I don't know.
That's questions that I don't understand.
I'd have been like, you know what? While you're here getting the car, let me load this up for you. We took this off one of the walls.
Yeah.
You want a memento of Holly's? Don't forget this. Take this with you. Take it with you.
It's just, I guarantee there's going to be a hell of a lot more coming out.
It is, and it's getting sicker and sicker and sicker. I mean, I'm really, my brain can't take it.
Every single day something comes out, pieces and pieces. And when it's all over with, everybody's going to be like, oh shit. Because they're going to be probably people they weren't even expected to be involved in this.
Question is, will we hear about it? That's what I'm concerned about, because I have a feeling they're going to make this go away with a quickness, or they're going to try to.
They're going to try and put a gag on it because they don't want other people to know the truth about what's going on in that area. They don't want nobody to know. That's why the LA were just putting it off. Oh, well, they died. Let's just go on about her business. Let's not investigate and see what's going on.
Nothing we can do. The guy that did it, he's dead. So what do you want me to do? What good is that going to do? Is what they said. What good's that going to
do? It don't matter now. It don't matter now. They're both gone. And then put Holly as one of the victims.
Not me. I won't. And I understand there's other creators saying that she was a victim of domestic violence. She was groomed by him. No, she's as sick as him.
Why would she keep dating jailmates if she was all that innocent?
Right.
Why you keep going to trash and wanting to date men like that? If you didn't have something about yourself that was not that evil or good, you're dating all these nasty people, all these nasty men, and bringing around your damn kids.
Yeah.
Not giving a shit, just bringing around your kids, not knowing what they would do to them. So no, she damn knew.
She knew. 100%. Well, that's all I've got for today. But tomorrow we have a members live. We're going to celebrate Mother's Day the way we do. So check the community tab and go ahead and give it a like and get notified. Because I know a lot of people aren't notified. And so they're like, oh, I didn't get a notification. So set that up because tomorrow is a big day. We're going to have the answer to our riddle that was put up yesterday. So we'll have the winner from that and celebrate Mother's Day.
Well, happy early Mother's Day.
Well, thank you, girlfriend. Thank you. And we're going to do it up big like we always do.
And I thank you for having me up and having me yada, yada, yada with you.
Yada, 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 anytime you want, my friend.
You got it.
All right. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right. Love you, girl.
Love you. Phew. Guys, thank you for hanging in here with this case because I know it's total insanity. It's something that we cannot wrap our minds around. The depravity, the moral bankruptcy, everything going on is beyond wrong. It's all wrong. This isn't this isn't your garden variety crime, if you know what I mean. This is like straight Satan. And it's horrible. Alicia said, exactly, Brooks. This blows my mind. It does. Me too. Me too. But again, thank you so much for being here. I saw a lot of survivor stories in here. I love this community. I love this chat. How we can discuss things as uncomfortable as they might be. We can agree to disagree, be friends at the end of the day. So in the meantime, thank you. Thank you to the Mod Squad. Thank you, Amanda, for coming up. Thank you, Country Girls Life. Thank you to Nucky. Thank you to Mrs. O. Thank you for the donations to the channel to keep it going. That's very much appreciated. And I will see you back here tomorrow morning for our Mother's Day special. And I'm going to continue to follow this because it's getting wilder by the minute. It's getting wilder by the minute. So I'll see you back here tomorrow and you have a great rest of your day.